Max, I want you to know you floored Dad with your Arkansas statement Monday about they were going to be your surprise team. And I've watched their coach. I like him. He's got a lot of energy.
Yeah.
He's making me believe. I don't know if he's got
how many games he going to win?
Yeah, but at least he's not boring.
They'll win more. They'll win six or more, I think.
6 or more?
I told you guys, look at the schedule. Look how it sets up who they play the week after the team they just played. Their opponent. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, Eastern Illinois, at Colorado State, North Texas. That's 3-0.
Right there.
At Auburn, that's an L. Texas A&M in Dallas.
Why are we talking about Arkansas?
Alabama, Ole Miss, Tulsa, Van. They got 4 straight home.
They ain't lost Ole Miss in 5 years.
All right. Why are we talking about Arkansas? I'm sorry.
Anyway, go for it, guys.
Max, I know the game was lopsided, but I was not a defensive. I didn't like the defensive guy at A&M last year. I thought he did a terrible job, not only evaluating prospects but making them play. I do think that Jimbo's defense last night, they were around the ball and they played hard. You can't. I don't know if they're better, but they looked better to me.
It's you had it, Coach. I hate to say, I don't want to slam any coaches, but the attitude wherever you are, many times you've been on side, comes from the head guy. And if the team's not performing very well, eventually you got to look for the head guy. And they did not recruit defensive players for 3 or 4 years in some of his first two years he was there, for sure. And then they make a change on the defense, and then it took them 2 more years to try to get enough players. Now it looks like Jimbo is, he's a recipient of that, and he brings in a much harder-nosed opinions about practice, about the way they handle themselves, a lot of other things. Jimbo's not a perfect guy, we all know. But the fact is, it's a different attitude and atmosphere right now in College Station than it was when Kevin Sumlin was there. And I
didn't watch the second half at all, but the first half, one guy played well. I didn't see the second half.
Yeah. Well, look, they still don't have a quarterback that can play at that level consistently and win. Okay. I think Jimbo probably wins 7 or 8 this year because he'll have some breakdowns toward the end of the year. But the fact is it's an improved attitude. It's an improved program. Over there, even though the competition last night wasn't very strong.
Yeah.
Max, Ole Miss must be some football team because Barrett Salee said they were going to beat Alabama.
Barrett Salee needs to take a hike and not come back.
That's what he said. That's what his mouth said.
Can he read?
He said they were going to beat Alabama, Max.
He needs to go up to a walk in the mountains.
So Ole Miss is going to Texas Tech, or they're playing them in Houston. Texas Tech is a 2.5-point favorite. How good is Texas Tech? If Ole Miss, who's going to win that game, Max? Dad, I don't know. Who's going to win that game?
Let me tell you, the over and under that's about 70, by the way. I think it's 72 this morning.
67 right now. 67 right now.
All right, here we go, guys. If you look at Texas Tech situation, they're in such a critical situation. They got to win. Ole Miss may have the worst defense in the Southeastern Conference. Now, they can score. They're going to throw the ball around and score. But the fact is, they starting the defensive front is kind of spotty. They starting 4 either defensive backs or linebackers that had never been on the field before. And they weren't high-profile recruits to begin with. If Ole Miss can stay within, 5-10 points of them, I'm going to be surprised tonight or tomorrow.
So you're saying Texas Tech all the way?
I think Texas Tech's more motivated. They know they've got to win. If they're going to keep that current coaching staff, I think that's a matter of fact. Ole Miss, I have a guy now on our station that is the day-by-day local reporter for the local newspaper here, and I talk to him every day. And he's been covering Ole Miss for 20 years. And he said this by far is not the best football team they ever had by any means.
Well, he needs to call Barrett Salee.
Well, I'm telling you, look, he called for Ole Miss to beat out Alabama. He had 2 or 3 other comments in there.
Put the dump button on him. I don't really get it. Put the dump
everybody
button.
out there.
That means Texas Tech's better than Alabama by that theory.
Yes. Give me a break, guys. Hey, let's just wait. Let's wait till Monday morning. We'll talk about that.
Well, I think the game. I think the game of the weekend, and I think it's a bad game for LSU because they need, as Barry has pointed out, they need a gimme in that first game. They do. I believe in gimmies in the first game. Most people want to have real tough games. I didn't. I wanted somebody I could beat so I could go home and eat.
Right.
LSU and Miami. Miami's not bad on the defensive end. When you think of Miami, you think of marking, you think of offense, but they're not bad on either side of the football. It's going to be a hard game.
Oh, I don't think it's any doubt. I think it's a must-win for us run. I think if they lose that one, I think the Wolves will come off before the end of the year. I think this is it's not going to be it's not a key physical game like some that LSU has to play, but it's a key psychological game. The fan base is completely split down there, and Ogeron's got to win that fan base back. And you know what? They end up with the Burris kid starting at quarterback. You know, if he was going to be the guy that could play quarterback, why did he play at Ohio State? Now they just throw out some. You know, you look at them from top to bottom. They lose guys, and they lose Williams, the number 1, number 2 running backs from last year. I think they returned 2 or 3 offensive linemen that started, but they had some holes they had to plug up there. And then they had a complete change on the defensive side with coaching staff. So, and even though they've got some talent, this is the first ball game. And how many times we look across the board every year, and there's some teams that do not perform very well early on. I really believe this. I believe LSU's going to be one of them. And I think if they don't play well, even if they lose, they don't play well, the wheels will come off at LSU by the end of the year.
Max, is there any way with 2 quarterbacks with these credentials, what people think about? I mean, Tua's projected the Heisman front runner right now. Which he's not going to be able to win.
Right about there.
He's not going to win because he's not going to play enough minutes. But can you keep?
That's right.
As a coach and coaching staff, is there any way possible to keep both those guys happy? I don't see how you do it.
Well, look, right now, don't you think about it, guys? Happiness is performance and winning. I mean, don't you interpret it that way? And I think when the year's over, you look back, Hurts will be gone at the end of the year anyway. We know that. So you get as much out of him as you can this year, which I still think he starts Saturday. I think you work Tua in there, and he's the guy coming in because they got 2 or 3 coming right behind Tua for the next 2 or 3 years, and they'll have it could end up in the same situation. So I think Coach Saban truly understands that, and it's all about a psychological game, Barry, at that level with 2 guys like that. Read Kevin Elko's book. And I can guarantee you'll get a better feel.
Yeah, but Max, I mean, you say winning's going to keep them happy. That's a given. They already think they're going to win, but playing time's what makes guys happy, doesn't it?
Well, in the fans,
I ain't talking about the fans now. I'm talking about the players.
Well, look, how do you know? Every kid's built different, Barry. Every kid's built different. I've had some kids come along. I won't get into all names, but I had kids that could play for anybody in America and would choose a team to play just because they wanted to be on that team where they ever took a snap.
Yeah, but I don't think these 2 kids are like that. These 2 kids are big time.
Yeah, but see, the key word you just said, I don't think. You don't know. I'm telling you.
I know Jalen Hurts and Tua both want to play. I know that.
True, and they're going to both play. They're both going to play.
But how do you keep them? Can you play them enough and keep them both happy?
What does it matter if they're happy or not?
So the answer is no. You can't keep them both happy.
Well, the only thing I can tell both of you is the national champions are off to a good start because they won last night against Connecticut and they're rolling.
I saw that.
Anyway, if we can, the Knights are going to be tough again. Auburn and Washington is, I think, a scary game for both teams, but I think it's. As I was telling Barry prior to you getting on, the fan base at Auburn has always been split. I was with a bunch of it was split with Tommy. They were split with Pat Dye. They've always been, and they're split somewhat with Gus Malzahn. So it's they'll probably catch LSU where they can beat them. But this is a big game, I think.
Oh, I don't think there's any doubt. It might be the biggest one they've had in years. That includes back 2 or 3 years ago. when they're playing Clemson either first or second in the schedule. I think you're absolutely. But, Coach, the reason they're split is because of the inconsistency of the program. How do you win, beat Alabama and Georgia, and go back and lay an egg the next 2 weeks? I mean, to me, that's almost inconceivable. You can't. I don't see how you do that, but it happened. Now, let's go fast forward from that. Auburn goes back to a place they've lost 2 in a row. If you analyze Auburn closely, guys, look, they got a kid who is the number 2 quarterback and had never taken a snap. You got 4 offensive linemen that's never played together. They don't know the running back situation. That Martin kid's 185 pounds in an offense that takes a 230 pounder to carry the ball 25 times. There are a lot of questions right now. I'm not saying Auburn can't win, but I will say even in a pick'em game, the line started at 3 and it's down to 1 or 1.5 this morning. So that tells you Washington has gained some respect. They're ranked 6 in the country. They're projected to be a top 4 playoff team. So I think you look at all that. It's going to take an outstanding effort for Auburn to win. I think they certainly got a chance. And I will say this: if they were playing at Jordan Hare, at 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon in the South, Auburn win by 3 touchdowns. But that ain't the case. So I think it's truly a pick 'em ball game. Whoever makes the fewest mistakes will certainly end up winning. And I think Auburn's kicking game. Nobody wants to talk about that. The Carlson kid, I'm telling you guys, he's as good as or better than his brother was. And his brother was the best kicker in the country last year. So in this thing, I say that to you: the field position, no turnovers. Auburn's got a great chance if they play good special teams. Other than that, they could easily get beat just as well.
Max, tell us about Missouri. I know everybody brags on this quarter.
They still play. They
got a good quarterback.
Everybody brags on that quarterback. They threw it so much. I mean, they didn't play any defense. The guy had the ball all the time because they scored on them so fast. Is Missouri a factor at all this year?
They can be, Bear. They can be. If just think about it, if they throw it, and they keep the ball moving it up and down the field, where basically where the quarterback has a great year or not, they're going to win 7 or 8. I don't think their defense is going to cost them a couple of ball games. But the fact is they do have an outstanding. That kid threw for 45 touchdowns and 4,000 yards last year. In the Southeastern Conference. So, not a great day. They bring in Dickey from Dallas Cowboys, and we know he didn't do a very good job at Tennessee. And some of my buddies up there that talk to me all the time, the Tennessee fan, they're scared. They're scared that Dickey's going to end up moving lock to tackle before it's over. I don't think it's going to be quite that drastic. but basically, they don't know. I'm saying all that to tell you, I don't think anybody knows. I think potentially the way their wide receivers both are 6'6". They got some talent on the offensive side. But literally, as we said, can they score 40 or more every ball game, and win 45-38? I think that's the way it's going to end up this year.
Yeah, plus they lost their assistant to Central Florida, who's going to be very good.
Oh, please. I'm so tired of hearing about Central Florida. Max, Michigan, Shea Patterson.
Yep.
Harbaugh, I mean, you do all those off-the-wall things. You take your team to Europe. Eventually, you got to start winning some games, right? How big is this game for Harbaugh? Are the people in Michigan getting sick of him? And can Shea Patterson go over there and pull this guy out of the deep fryer?
Well, I mean, I'm telling you, if you don't know a lot about the inside, Jim Harbaugh's got to talk to Shea Patterson's dad probably before he lets him go on the field. I mean, that's how critical that situation is. Shea Patterson's probably a better than average quarterback. Is he good enough to take Michigan? Does Michigan have enough surrounding? I think Notre Dame beats them this weekend. I think that Jim Harbaugh came in and not demeaning his credentials. Had a great run in the NFL, but he has not lived up to what the people at University of Michigan thought he could do. No. And he's still gaining headlines, doing this, doing that. They bring in the Patterson kid. But what does that tell you about a kid that basically was getting ready to get beat out at Ole Miss until his injury with his knee happened? And then he makes the transfer. He gets cleared from all the other mess that's going on there. And then he steps in, and it was a pretty well-known fact that he was going to be the starter at Michigan when he transferred. He had several other chances to go other places, but he chose that one. It's a big high profile, program in this country, and that's what his dad wanted to do. So it's the dad situation, guys, has been. I don't know, Coach. I don't know how many times y'all had to talk to parents, but in my career as an assistant, I didn't ever talk to a parent. That's a new era for me to have to discuss at the college level with the parents about what you're going to do with them.
Max, Dad's all mad at Joe Moorhead because he suspended his quarterback.
It was stupid.
He said he should have just told me he wasn't going to do it no more. I thought it may have been a in-house rule there at Mississippi State. You do this, you lose this many games.
Why bring the guy to media day and then suspend him?
Why is he suspended, Max? Can you tell us? And two, would he be suspended if they were playing Auburn tomorrow?
No. I can tell you that right now. There was some house rules that he broke, and that and they held that. Guys, Matt White's on our station. Matt's a color guy, color analyst for Mississippi State every week, and I had a long talk with him about it. He said they kept it even from people on campus. That he had broken some in-house rules. He's trying to send a message. They took a game that there's no way harder that they can lose than sit him down. To let everybody know. Maybe, and I'll tell you from everything I know, the kid's a pretty good kid. But he's a kid. He's a 20-year-old kid. Eco got kind of been out of shape a little bit. He's got all the accolades. And Coach, you said they took him to media day and all the things. So I think that's Joe Moorhead's way of sending a message, much like Coach Saban does from time to time. Sends a message to not only to the kid but to others around him. Hey, we can do this, and we will do this.
Yeah, but Max, that's a silent message when you're playing Stephen F. Austin, because those guys know that Auburn, you weren't going to suspend him.
But Barry, you got to understand, this is Mississippi State. They don't have runs like a lot of major schools do. They're happy to win 8 or 9 ball games every year. And this is a way to look. I'm reporting. I'm not making this up. I'm just reporting what I'm hearing, okay?
Max, I've missed you so much. Go ahead, Dad.
Well, I'm about through with the questions, I guess. I can't think of anything else except what's the situation going to be? Maryland's playing Texas. What's the situation going to be at Maryland?
I don't know, Coach. I don't think anybody knows. I think they're going to, I think both places are going to have some. I think that the question about Tom Herman at Texas, knowing some stuff that went on before and not really, listen. But you know what? Dan Mullen would be just involved at Florida because he was on that staff too. So and whether Ohio State did the right thing by sitting him down for 3 weeks, that splits a lot of people's opinion around. That's a big issue in this country today, and and how do you handle that? I don't know. Urban twisted and talked and all. He went to the legal status. I had heard that, but I didn't have any written proof. La. We know all that, but guys, when things like that goes on, as close as a staff is, because that's got the only socializing you do as a staff is with each other, but particularly during the season. A lot of people knew what was going on. And why Urban chose to do it the way he did, I don't know. The end result is that was the finding. Ohio State has to deal with it. They're going to be criticized. And will it ever go away? Well, maybe a year from now if he wins, if he wins 10, 11 football games, a lot of things have changed in people's minds.
Yeah, Tom Herman said that was 4.5 years ago. He was an assistant coach, and his wife knew he was at the strip club. So, whatever. Tom.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So, so how do you, is that worth defending? I guess is the question.
Yeah.
In the fans' eyes, probably not at the university where they are, but to everybody else in the country, it probably is worth defending.
All right, Max, what's for supper?
Oh man, I did last weekend. Probably one of my last times. Don't have time to cook. Trying to get the station on the air over here, but I cooked about 25 people, and I did. I took bone-in wings, and I cooked them just like I do ribs. I based them in a salt and vinegar and a brown sugar and vinegar. I did both kinds. I got people that can't eat salt, so I do both. But I put them on a hot grill, a charcoal grill, and I brown them quick with a hot fire, and I push them off to the side and be sure they're done through and through. Then I baste them with kind of a sweet barbecue sauce on top, just kind of give them that little sticky, sugary taste. And then pull it off, and I think I cooked 100 to 150 ribs, chicken wings on that dip. Regular sides, I had potato salad, coleslaw. We did garlic bread. I had big old pitcher of sweet iced tea. And for dessert, I did a little bit different this week. I did a banana pudding, but I did it right from the oven. A lot of people don't particularly like warm banana pudding, but if you do it, if you take it out, turn it over take it out of your dish, turn it over on a platter, and kind of fold it, top it with whipped cream, and sprinkle pecans on it. And the warm banana pudding is about as good as you can get.
Vanilla wafers?
Which one now?
Did you put any vanilla wafers in there?
I do on the bottom. I don't put them on the sides and all that. That's just a bottom thing. When I flip it over, I top the vanilla wafers with whipped cream, and then I put the pecans on top of that. So you get a little crunch with that, but you get the taste of pecans when you do the vanilla wafers.